Hello, this is Tezlon. I am here at the Lighthouse doing a Scout review, our first one, and the subject of the review is the newest Scout in the game, the Tier 7 Premium French Light, the AMX 1357. It is currently offered on a limited time basis in the premium shop in conjunction with the WargamingLeague.net Grand Finals, which is why you see the logo on it. It gets that dark green paint and the white ribbon with the WG League logo on it. Now, I hope you like it, because you can't change it. You cannot put a camo paint scheme on this tank at the moment. Don't know if it'll stay like that over time or not. Don't know when it will appear in the premium shop again after this limited time sale is over. They haven't told us that yet. It may become just a annual thing in the spring with the Wargaming League finals. It may just be added to the premium shop where you can buy it anytime you want to. Hopefully, if they do that, they will also let you put camo on it, just to change the look of it a little bit. Has kind of a unique look. It's a lot like a 1375, but that 57 millimeter barrel, it's a 57L 100. So it's a long, thin barrel. I've had people from the front in games tell me it looks like the Lone Ranger or a Cyclops, or that it has eyes. And some people say it looks like a ninja. So it gets comments, but like I said, you can't change the paint scheme. Now, how does it perform? With Scouts, you're generally concerned with three basic areas. How well can it spot? How maneuverable is it? And what kind of armament does it have? Is the weapon serviceable? So let's take a look at it. Starting off with the hit points, it has 890 hit points. That's 10 less than a 1375. And the view range is more than adequate, 390 meters, with a 750 meter signal strength. You won't find very many places on a map where you won't be able to communicate with your team. And while it's not the best view range, it's more than what you need to provide a lot of spots for your team. So, as far as its ability to passive spot, it's going to be good at it. It's a small tank with a small profile. It's going to be able to hide in bushes that some of the bigger scouts won't be able to hide in. Agility-wise, it's kind of a mixed review. It only weighs 14.9 tons, about half a ton less than its sister. And it has 48 degrees per second traverse, which is more than its 1375 sister. However, don't start thinking that's going to make it more agile. It isn't. It is crippled by its motor, which only produces 250 horsepower, and that translates into a 17.01 horsepower per ton specific power. That is anemic. There's no other way to describe it. Its motor is an underperformer. The AMX 1375 gets a 300 horsepower motor, and even it isn't the most agile tank in the world. So, 61 kilometers per hour top speed. On level terrain, you don't have any trouble maintaining that speed once you reach it. It's going to take a while because that small motor has trouble accelerating. It struggles climbing hills, and it loses agility and speed fairly rapidly if you put it through a series of hard lateral maneuvers. You cannot sustain a circle of death in it against any kind of tank that has any mobility at all and is traversing its hull and its turret. You will not be able to stay ahead of that tank's gun. You're going to have to do a crossover to keep from getting shot. It's capable of circling. It just isn't as good as some of the more agile tanks. What you're going to end up doing, especially when you're in a situation that makes the motor work, is wishing that you had a bigger motor. Almost every fight at some point you're going to wish you had a bigger motor. It's just the way it is. You can work with it, But another thing you have to keep in mind when you're playing. Here's the bad news. I've had several maps now where games where I played in Ensk, and I've stopped in between railroad tracks to view down the field and see what's at the other end. When I go to move again, because my front track is right up against the side of a railroad track, I feel like I'm in a T1 tank. I cannot get going. Sometimes I've literally had to back up a little bit and then go forward. It doesn't have the horsepower to get you moving when you're parked against a small obstacle that most tanks wouldn't even realize was there. So when you're stopping it, don't do it against anything that may cause it to struggle to get going again, because it's going to be very noticeable, the effort that it takes to move. And if you're in an emergency situation where you have to get out of Dodge fast, you're not going to be able to do it, and you're going to end up taking severe damage or dying because of it. Something else you have to keep in mind while you play. Now the main feature of the tank for many people, the reason they like this tank is its weapon. It has a 20.87 round rate of fire, and it has an 8-round clip, which is 2 rounds more than the 1375 gets. Has the exact same reload as a 1375, so depending on your equipment and crew skills, your reload is going to be somewhere between 15 and 16 seconds, which is actually very good for an autoloader. The bad news: it only does 90 points of damage per round. That's sad. Remember, it's a Tier 7 Scout. You're going to be going up against Tier 10 behemoths. Despite the fact that it achieves 8 points more per minute DPM, this game is not a DPM game. Especially with autoloaders, you have to think in DPC, damage per clip. And even though it has 2 rounds more in a clip than the 1375, it does less damage per clip because of its poor damage per round. The 1375 puts out 810 average damage per clip, while the 1357 only manages 720. It is going to struggle taking on full health tanks because it's not going to be able to kill them. It's going to have to dump a clip, move out, reload, come back, and hopefully finish the tank off. If it's a lower tier tank against the high tier tanks, it's going to be a scavenger more than a hunter. And we'll get into that more in a little bit. The turret traverse is 45 degrees per second. I find myself waiting a lot for the turret to catch up with my brain. Kind of annoying. Again, something you can work with, but you have to be aware of. The way I view the tank, it's going to be a passive spotter that later on in the game is going to become a scavenger. It's going to prey on the damaged, the crippled, the sick, and the elderly is where it will have success. If it gets into a situation where it has to repeatedly go up against full health tanks, especially higher tier tanks, to pull out a fight, it's going to struggle mightily in all but the hands of the best players. Which brings me to this. If you are new to scouting, or you're fairly new to World of Tanks, do not buy this tank. Get more experience first, because it's going to frustrate the hell out of you and you're going to think it sucks. If you collect scouts, if you're an experienced scout player, especially the French AMX line, you will be able to do okay with this tank. If you need a French trainer for your other scouts, it's an option. It has 3 crew positions. It has the commander, the driver, and the gunner. The commander also doubles as the signal operator and a loader, and the driver can learn loader skills as well. So you have the ability to train most of your crew skills in a fairly rapid fashion if you're trying to use it as a trainer to pass crews on to maybe the 1390 that you're going to get or something like that. I am in Malinovka right now. I'm in Encounter East, and I'm getting ready to show you a fight with it that kind of highlights what it does well. And you'll see a little bit of what it doesn't do well. Right now, there's a whole ton of these things out running around the battlefields, and I predict that within the next month, the numbers of them that you see on the battlefield are going to dwindle rapidly, because the initial euphoria over a new tank to go try out is going to give way to, wow, I just paid to get a 1375. I could have got it for free. So here we go. I'm telling my team where I'm going to spot at. Always helps to do that. Let people know where they're going to see tanks at, and hopefully some of them will set up to shoot them. I might add, you can't put insignia on this tank either, because it would overlay right on top their logo, and they don't want that, so you can't even put insignia on it. Now the enemy 1357 is getting kind of aggressive there. He's going to pay for it. Stays alive, but he takes a lot of damage. From what I've seen, there's several reviews on this tank out there, so already on YouTube, and the general consensus of a lot of them, and on the forums, like, oh my god, it's such a great tank. It's like, don't be misled by people. They're happy to have a new tank. This is for all intents and purposes, it's a 1375 that you get to spend money on to get. At the time I filmed this, my crew skills were around 30%, so I don't have 6th sense. I'm not going to be firing at people up here, because if I fire, I'm going to have to assume that I'm seen and back out. And right now I'm getting spots that are being shot, so I just want to sit here and be patient and let my team pile up some damage. We aren't set up well to the south. There is a heavy moving down there, and the 28 prototype is over there, but our arty are all three down that way. So they're kind of vulnerable. If I see anybody make a move on the enemy team that way, I'm going to have to back up and move over there to help out. I would say if you're in the market for a premium scout and you don't really care which line to take, I would I would recommend the Chinese premiums over this anytime you ask. Every time you ask, because they're better. So I keep an eye on the south there. Mediums come over. 2 tanks opposing him. Right now I don't have to go, but I have to watch. If more enemy teammates show up, I'm going to have to move down that way. And here comes one of their 1357s. So I'm getting ready to, I'm going to back up out of here and see if I can help out. I don't have a good shooting game this game, I'll tell you that right now. I miss a couple shots I shouldn't have missed. And while I'm talking about that, let me say this. If you are firing at range such as I am right now, you can't take advantage of its rapid fire. Because I didn't say this before, but it can shoot about 1 round a minute. You can unload your whole clip in approximately 8 seconds. That works well if you're in close against an enemy tank. Watch, it just doesn't want to come up this hill out of the water. It's too much resistance for that poor little motor to handle. The up close, where you don't have to worry about aiming, you can unload a clip really fast. At distance, you're going to want to let it aim in its full 2.3 seconds based on your skills and equipment to get good results. If you start just unloading 8 rounds in 8 seconds at distance, maybe you'll hit half of them if you're lucky. They're going to fire all over the place. The penetration on this thing, AP rounds is 143, and the APCR is 195. That is a little bit light for a Tier 7 Scout. It's at the bottom end, if not the bottom. You can still kill tanks. I was firing AP right there. I hadn't switched to APCR. However, against the big heavy armored tanks, you're going to struggle to do consistent damage. You're definitely going to want to come in from the rears and sides, which is what I did there, in order to be effective. See, I just missed like 3 shots in a row. Not good. $95, $92, $80, $82 on me. Against my light armor, that guy could barely kill me, and I was doing the same weak damage to him. Now imagine if I was going up against like a T-59 or something. I wouldn't be scoring a lot of damage, and every so often he'd be popping me for a good shot. There are a lot of considerations to have in mind when you play. If you don't mind playing a challenging tank, you can have good missions in this thing. If you find yourself in a situation where you have to carry your team and it's not a Tier 8 fight, you're going to struggle mightily to pull out a win. Two tanks to go. I know they're both up in like the B and A 6 through 8 area. At least that's where I saw them last. So I'm going to bush hop a little bit. I'm going to wait to see if they come this way first, and then I'll bush hop up there and try to light them up for my team. The ammo right now, premium ammo, I believe, costs 2,800 silver per round. You can shoot off a couple clips of premium and still make a profit with it because it's a premium tank, so you get the extra credits and XP. If you run all premium ammo, you're probably not going to make a profit, or you're going to come just a small profit. But it's a tank where I'm building up my bank account while I'm playing it. I'm not worried about losing money on it. And that you would expect that with a premium tank. So, for this battle, I ended up, that was the 8th mission, by the way. I had 1,804 XP, 3 spots, 3,389 spotting damage, 2 kills, and 1,033 damage despite missing, seems like all my shots when I first started off the game. So what you see is what you get. It's the AMX 1375 with the 57mm instead. It has a high rate of fire, but low damage per round. You're going to be a very capable passive spotter. In same tier or tier 8 battles, you're going to do great, or have the ability to do great. In tier 10 battles, you're going to have to play with a lot of thought in order to make an impact on the fight if you have to use your weapon to do it. You're a scavenger. You're going to be good at picking off injured people. You're going to be a good flanker support type tank. Against tanks that are already engaged, you can just come in and flank. Otherwise, you're going to be doing drive-bys, hit and run, guerrilla warfare in order to survive. The reload isn't bad, but the damage per clip is kind of on the low side for an autoloader. I think people are going to have a lot of fun with them. Initially, you're going to hear a lot of people say how great they are, but it's only because it's new. Within a month or so, I think you're going to see the numbers of them on the battlefield really tail off, because the newness is going to wear off and they're going to see that the tank isn't as shiny as it was when they first bought it, and that it's actually just a basically $13.75 that they paid $28 for, or more depending on the package they use. So I'm not saying don't buy it. If all you care about is getting a premium scout, I would go with the Chinese premiums. If you collect scouts, it's kind of a cool tank to have in your stable, especially with this logo on it. It makes it unique. If you're new to scouting, if you're new to World of Tanks, don't buy it. You're wasting your money. You're not going to do good in it. If you're an experienced scout, if you're looking for a French trainer, then hey, you can take it, play it thoughtfully, play it carefully, and you're going to have your share of good missions in it. From Malinovka, Encounter West East, in my AMX 1357, happy hunting.